Hello, everyone. This is Pendy.
And this is Paul, also known as EastX Twitch.
Oi, what's all this then? We doing a Dragon Quest 3 show already? The bleeding game ain't even out yet. Crikey.
Offensive and unintelligible accent aside, we have a special guest here to tell us about their time with Dragon Quest 3.
Core blimey. That's a right surprise it is.
Holy Rubus, if you don't stop with that accent, I'll have Baramos feast on your innards. He's been pestering me about them for months.
Okay. While you introduce our guest, I'll just sit here in the corner and munch on some seeds of salvation then.
You'd better. I have the Sphere of Light ready to go in case you don't. And with that out of the way, I'll welcome everyone to Slime Time, a Dragon's Den podcast. Today we have a special returning guest that will tell us about the Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake event in the United Kingdom. We welcome back Lulu the cosplayer to the show.
Hello! Good to be back.
Hello. And as we mentioned before, we learned that the Square Enix UK office was having a special Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake event. Now, Lulu, what was it all about and how did you get to attend?
I was really lucky I actually got tickets because I know they sold out pretty quickly. So tickets were free, they were time. It was really funny timing for me. I was on a train on my way back to my hometown and the train actually broke down in a station. And so they had just made the announcement saying the train had broken down. And I sat down and was like, oh man, I'm going to be here for a while. And I opened my phone and I just saw the post about the event as it went up. It was really, really good timing. Of course, I was then stuck on that train for another hour before I finally found a way home, but I did get tickets to the event. Because I only had a week's notice, I know that stopped a lot of people. I was really lucky I was already heading back to my hometown because I store my cosplays there. So I had to run back and get my cosplay, quickly check it over, make sure nothing's damaged. I know loads of people couldn't go as well. I know there are quite a few Dragon Quest fans in Ireland who couldn't fly out and stuff like that. Square Enix UK do a lot of events in their London office, and so I was really excited to see this one. Usually they're for Final Fantasy, of course, and I know a lot of Final Fantasy cosplayers who get invited, and it kind of feels like they do one almost every month. I remember saying once to my Dragon Quest cosplay friend, oh man, they should totally invite me. I know loads about Final Fantasy, and I would definitely not sit there in Dragon Quest cosplay. So it was really nice to be invited. It felt quite nice to kind of be recognized that there were Dragon Quest fans in the UK,
Well, congratulations on attending. So to help us imagine this event, how was it decorated? And when you got to play, which version of the game did you play?
So it wasn't really decorated for Dragon Quest. They had 2 plush slime, and I found out, I'll talk about it later, but I had a conversation with one of the staff, and he actually asked me, where do people buy the slime plushes? I don't know where people buy them because we don't sell them, which I thought was strange. But yeah, there was a cutout of both a male and female heroes in the main area. So Square Enix London office is quite a large kind of open space. They have one room off to the side, which was where we played the games, but it's quite a large open space. They have a kind of bar in the middle. Most of it was Final Fantasy decor. Obviously they had I don't really think you can switch over because a lot of the things they had were replica buster swords, replica weapons. They were quite large. I did see pictures that they had donuts earlier in the event with Dragon Quest monsters printed on them, but I didn't see them by the time I got there because I got there slightly later because my playtime was set for 7:15. Although I got there around 6:30 and they allowed me straight into play. I'm fairly sure we played the PC version of the game because a Windows pop-up appeared for a split second while I was playing in it. I was like, whoa, wait, what? Because there were PS5 well in the room. So I was actually slightly confused about the version we were playing until I saw that pop up. Because then also we had Xbox controllers. It was quite a strange setup. But yeah, it was definitely the PC version.
Oh, interesting. And, it is a shame about Dragon Quest merchandise, not just in the UK, but North America and other regions. It just seems like they're really bad about that. And there's so much merchandise that they made just for this Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake that is just Japan only, which is a shame. But what was your impression of the game? Had you played any version of Dragon Quest 3 prior to doing this?
I hadn't actually. By the time I had really gotten back into Dragon Quest after playing Dragon Quest 9 as a kid, and I was considering back playing the game, they just announced Dragon Quest 3 just after that, the remake. So I was like, well, I'll hold off on Dragon Quest 3 until the remake comes out. So this was my very first experience of Dragon Quest 3, and it was amazing. Honestly, I was so kind of engrossed in the game. I almost completely missed the member of staff saying that was your half an hour up. I was so engrossed in the game. I've been joking. I came out of the event and I was like, oh gosh, I need this game. I hadn't budgeted for it, so I might, live on water and ice for the next month because I'm a student. I might live on water and ice and have Dragon Quest 3 instead. But no, it really was so kind of magical.
Do they have ramen noodles in the UK?
Yes, yeah, but they're not as cheap, I think, as they are in the US.
Oh, that's too bad.
Unfortunately. So I can't live on ramen noodles.
Yeah, that's the saving money diet over here. So when you were playing, did you get to create your own party or see any of the customization options? And what classes were your party members?
So when you got to the tavern in the remake and you talk to Patty, she gives you the option of either actually taking a pre-made party of a mage, a priest, and a warrior, or you can go upstairs and customize your own. I chose to take the pre-made class because I love character customization, and I knew if I decided to customize my own, that would be like all of my demo time gone. So I took the pre-made party. They had randomized names as well. I remember my warrior was called Linus, but I unfortunately don't remember the names of my other two party members, which feels really mean. But yeah, I didn't see the customization, which I know is what everyone wanted to see.
No, that I don't blame you for doing that because you had what, like a half hour to play?
Yeah, we had half an hour in a time slot. Yeah, they were quite strict.
Yeah, because I would imagine if that were me and I did not do the same thing that you did, I'd probably end up making like 10 different characters or just have 3 characters. I'd be like, well, I could do this or that because there's so many different new customization options that this game has. So I don't blame you. Now, it would have been funny if there was more names because Linus reminds me of Peanuts from, Snoopy and Charlie Brown and all that. If like your other party members were named like Charlie Brown or Lucy or whatever. That was
I didn't
cute.
think they were. I think they had kind of very medieval-esque names, and I think that's why I found Linus so funny, is the other two had quite fancy name. I was like, and his personality was a meathead, so I was like, I have this meathead warrior called Linus, and the other two are like, magic users, and I was like, this is so funny. He's clearly just a simpleton of the party.
That's awesome. Now, what did you think of the voice acting in the game?
Yeah, I really liked it, actually. I was surprised it had as much voice as it did, at least in the half an hour I saw. It seems to share a lot of voice actors with Dragon Quest 11. So the mother is definitely played by the same person as Amber because she sounds exactly the same. And it was quite funny. I haven't mentioned yet, but I did actually go in my Luminary cosplay because I don't have any Dragon Quest 3 ones. And so I was sitting there dressed as a Luminary. And I heard what I recognized as the voice of Amber. And I was like, oh, my mother. But I think the king shares a voice with Hendrik. I'm not sure on this. It's definitely another voice actor from Dragon Quest 11, but I can't exactly place who. And Patty does have voice lines. And she has a very strong, I think, Southern US accent. And it was really nice to see Patty voice because, of course, I first met her in Dragon Quest 9. She's not voiced in that.
Interesting. And I really love the voice actor for Hendrik. So if that's the same guy, that'll be cool.
I think so. I'm not sure, but I definitely was like, I really, really recognize it. So that's my guess.
Well, I'm glad there is voice acting, and returning voices are cool too. What did you like most about your time playing the game at the event?
I really loved the pixel graphic. I will admit, I'm not always the biggest love of pixelated graphics. They're just not the sort of thing I gravitate towards. But Dragon Quest 3 Remake, it's so vibrant. Combined with, of course, like the traditional Dragon Quest orchestral sounds, it's such a gorgeously vibrant game. And I was surprised about how kind of vibrant, how much light and dark. Like I said, I don't tend to play pixel art games, and I really liked it. I just enjoyed exploring. I think always what I love about Dragon Quest is how familiar but how new each game is. And so that's what I really loved about this. I'd never played Dragon Quest 3, but it kind of almost felt nostalgic in a way.
Yes, there is a lot of exploring in Dragon Quest 3, especially once you get the ship, so you will enjoy that. Now, we were wondering, does gender play a role in the game? Because we know that when you pick your main character, it's either a type A or a type B, but does gender still play a role?
Yeah, so I saw everything that went on when they announced it was type A and type B. And honestly, I was so engrossed in the game, I wasn't really watching. But when the game opens and it asks you to select type A and type B, of course, after you selected one of the two, there is a pop-up that says type A is referred to as the hero and type B is referred to as the heroine. Is this okay? And you can select yes or no to go back and reselect. So you still have male and female pronouns. They're just not explicitly male or female characters. I think it's quite similar to Animal Crossing New Horizons, where you select, I think, style, masculine or feminine style. So so gender is still in the game. It's just referred to slightly differently. So really, to me, it made no difference in gameplay. I selected a type B, and my character was still referred to as daughter of, she. So yeah, it really seems to make no functional difference in gameplay for everyone who was concerned.
And that makes sense because in the previous versions of the game, gender can play a role in what equipment you can have and the different personality types and such. So it's interesting to know.
Yeah. So I think maybe I didn't get far enough check, but I do wonder because of the way this works, it might be that those locks don't apply from the kind of way it was worded, it didn't feel like those locks might apply. But we'll find out when the game is released, I think.
Well, some of what you've told us is bad news for me, at least, because I don't play games that have pronouns. So if the game doesn't say everyone's full name every time they refer to them, then I can't play it. But
oh, no.
we heard the preview event featured a full build of the game, which you've told us about. And that means you got to play the very beginning where you're asked questions and play a scenario based off of your responses. What personality did your main character end up with?
Yeah, so this portion of the game, because I'd never played Dragon Quest 3 before, I wasn't expecting, but I did want to explain what happened here because I feel like this may have gone over my head. So after I did the personality quiz, I was in this kind of grassy knoll and I was told to head west. So there was two paths and I was told to head west. And I went east instead because obviously in Dragon Quest, if you always head the other way, the objective is usually a treasure chest. And I headed east and my character fell down a hole. And I returned back to the grassy knoll where I did the personality test and I got called a narcissist. So I feel like I did something wrong there because it was like, the personality was like, oh, clearly you think of others and stuff like that. And then I went the wrong way. And all of a sudden the game was like, by the way, you're a narcissist. So I have no idea what that was about. I'd love for someone to enlighten me what I've done. But yeah, so the personality quiz was really funny actually. I didn't know Dragon Quest 3 had one and it was quite fun. It reminded me a little bit of like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, they added that personality quiz, that opening section in all of the remakes, and basically it will determine your personality obviously, but they will have like different scenarios. Like one could be a grassy knoll like you started on, but there's other areas that they might put you in where you do little things, and what choices you make will also affect your personality. So what personalities do in the game is they affect your character growth. So some personalities will make it that your HP growth will be more than usual, or MP growth or whatever. So that's usually what it comes down to. That's what the whole personality system is in the game.
That's a really fun system.
Yeah, and there's books that you'll find throughout the game that will be able to change your personality. So if you don't like being a narcissist and you think that's unfair, you can find books later in the game that will change your personality of your character. So it's a nice little system that is set up for that. Now, in the past, we interviewed you and your friends before on your amazing Dragon Quest cosplay, and you said before that you did cosplay for this event. And I also heard another sad story about your Sword of Light. Spill the tea.
Yeah, so my Sword of Light has once again kicked the bucket, but decided to do so rather spectacularly. So I have a Supreme Sword of Light. It's a 3D print. It was my very first 3D printed weapon. It's not constructed very well, partially due to printing errors and partially due to my own experience. So it's always been a bit delicate. Of course, it broke during our Dragon Quest shoot. I put a plush slime on it and it snapped in two. But this time it was mounted on my back, and one of the staff members at Square Enix was like, "You look great. Can I get a picture?" So I took the sword off my back and I hold it aloft, and the sword picks, this time of all times, in Square Enix's office while all the staff are watching me, to snap in two. So the entire blade came off the hilt and the support beam inside the sword snapped. So I don't know if it can come back from this, but I was mortified. And I watched it snap to the floor, and the staff were very lovely and they were like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. Can we do anything?" And I just had to kind of pick up my sword awkwardly and be like, "No, there's nothing to be done." It made it easier to transport on the underground back. I'll give it that, but mortifying. And I know someone out there took a picture of the exact moment it fell. So if that was you, please DM that picture to me, because my face must be funny. Please, if that was you, DM that picture.
Well, we're sorry to hear that your Sword of Light has been extinguished. But we saw your Instagram reel on the official Dragon Quest Instagram page. Not only are you Slime Time famous, but now you're Dragon Quest Instagram famous. Was the slime you're holding in the reel your personal slime?
So the slime I was holding was one of Square Enix's slimes. My king slime and my grey slime, Goober and Slimin, were asleep on my sofa in my flat. They didn't come to the event because they're quite large. So quite a funny thing, actually, I'd love to tell you guys. Square Enix knows about your podcast. And I found out because I was talking with the social media guy while we were setting up to film the Instagram reel. And he was saying "Oh, I'm not going to include my own voice asking the question in this because I don't like the sound of my voice." And I was saying, "Oh yeah, I did a podcast." And when I listened back to it, I never liked the sound of my own voice, and listening to the full hour of the Cosplay podcast was like, ooh, especially because my mic was so bad. And this guy immediately was like, "Oh wow, that must have been Slime Time." And I was like, "Oh yeah, you guys know Slime Time?" And we ended up recording, and he didn't get back to me on that. But yeah, it sounds like you guys are Dragon Quest famous as well.
Of course. We haven't dealt with the UK office except for one time accidentally when we were trying to set up a interview interview with some people for Infinity Stretch, but we have interviewed someone at the North American office before, so we do know them a little bit.
Wow. Yeah, you're internationally famous.
Now, did the Square Enix crew, did they have any giveaways for those who showed up to the event?
They did. They were giving away either a standard or a collector's edition of the game to one person who showed up, and they said they'll email them 24 hours after the event. So I can definitely confirm I didn't win the giveaway, but someone must have. But we also got goodie bags as well at the end of our time there. So I got a really cute, I think it's a handkerchief with both, I think it's a chocobo. I've never played Final Fantasy, a chocobo and a slime. I also got a sticker. I think it's a little slime keychain that's supposed to be a screen wipe and a pin. And the pin and the sticker are both marked not for sale. So I think those are exclusives. And I got like a nice print of the key art of Erdrick from the Dragon Quest 3 remake. So quite a nice goodie bag, actually. It was really cute that we had them. So I'm definitely going to treasure that. I might get the Erdrick art frame, I think. And there was food there as well. They cater us. I have allergies and we had to speak beforehand about catering and things. But they tried to make it possible for me. My allergies are extremely great, Enix, and I do thank for that.
Oh, very nice. And I saw pictures of the items that you had in your goodie bag, and they look really nice. We'll put that up on the YouTube version. I particularly liked the funny little Platypunk sticker that's pulling along a little slime. That was cute.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Color me jelly about that. So you haven't played Final Fantasy, but were you able to infiltrate the infamous Final Fantasy bus they have over there?
No, I wasn't. I always see the Final Fantasy bus at like events I've never been in. It just, every time I see it, I'm like, if you have the money for a Final Fantasy bus, why not market Dragon Quest? But that's just a personal gripe. And I guess now they have marketed Dragon Quest, so I can't moan.
It's a baby step.
One day we'll get that bus. One day, and we'll take it and we'll plaster it with Dragon Quest stuff instead.
Yeah.
Now that you've played the game for a bit, what do you look forward to the most?
I think definitely I want to go back and do party customization. Of course, I'm extremely kind of partial to that because Dragon Quest 9 was such a big part of my childhood. So I'd really love to do that again. As much as I love the characters in Dragon Quest 11, I do sometimes miss kind of being able to create your own party. So I think when I get the game, that's the bit I'm most excited for, and just the opportunity to play another Dragon Quest. Like I said, I've never played Dragon Quest 3, and the demo really called to me. So I'm really excited to be able to go back into the world of Dragon Quest, I think.
That is really cool. And obviously we've got the HD remake of Dragon Quest 3 coming up. But for people in general who haven't played Dragon Quest 3, you always could try the mobile version, because that's actually how my first time playing all the way through it, and I had a really good time with it. Anyway, we heard you have another event related to Dragon Quest coming up. So what's that all about? And will you be meeting someone special there?
Yeah, so literally 3 days after the Dragon Quest 3 remake event, it was announced that the voice actor of Sylvando, Shai Mattison, is going to NCM Comic Con in Birmingham. And it was already like a last minute seat of the pants decision for me to attend that event anyway. So when I saw Sylvando was going to be there, I was like, oh my goodness, drop everything. It's time to put on the Luminary cosplay again. At the end of this month, we have to go see him. And luckily, a lot of my fellow Dragon Quest cosplayers make that. So that's really exciting. We're currently pre-booking the photo opportunity so we can all get a picture with him. I think that might be the last hurrah of my now snapped into Sword of Light. I might bring it to see if he'll autograph it, because that will be something nice to do with what's otherwise now a piece of classic. So
that's amazing. That'll be really cool to have him sign that. And will your friend that has done the Sylvando cosplay in the past, will she be able to attend this as well?
Yes, they went out and bought a ticket to MCM Birmingham immediately after I sent the announcement in our group chat. I was like, oh my goodness, their name's Hyrule. I was like, Hyrule, you've got to go to Birmingham, Hyrule. And they were like saying that tickets bought, trains bought, I'll be there. It was so quick. I can't even tell you how much we scrambled, because we've wanted for ages for one of the Dragon Quest voice actors to do a Comic Con in the UK, because most of them are UK based, but they're usually television actors. So it was always a slightly slim chance we would get any of them. But I think we always had our best chance with Shai Mattison because he does other video games. So this is very exciting, yeah, especially because he's actually my morning alarm. Act 1 Octagonia, the wake up is my morning alarm. So it's going to be very funny to meet the voice of every morning from me.
How cool. And when you meet him, please pass along a message, and that's that he should do cameos.
I think he does, but I will ask him anyway.
Oh, okay. This one does. Okay.
Yes.
That's good. All right.
Yeah, he's available right now for a cameo if you want to have him do the voice of Sylvando or any of his other characters, darling.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, it's been like a year and a half since I looked, and in my mind, forever, there will be no Dragon Quest voice actors who do cameos, but that's good news.
Yeah, if we could just get Ricky Grover to do it, that would be perfect. The voice of Yangus.
Oh, neat.
Oh
that
my
would
gosh.
I don't know. He'll probably, if he hears your intro from the beginning of this episode, he's going to be like, oh no, you've outdone me. I don't even need to participate. No more Yangus for me. The character is retired.
Oh no, I've ruined it with my perfect accent.
And with that, we wrap up this episode of Slime Time. Thank you, Lulu, for coming on the show. Let us know where we can find you on social media, won't you?
I'm on literally all social media. I've just joined Tumblr. That's how crazy this is. As Après Lulu, which is APRES Lulu, all one word. Literally everywhere.
Perfect. Thank you again. We're a non-profit podcast. We won't lose your hard-earned gold by breaking your supreme sword of light. Instead, we can offer you quality content for free. But if you do have some extra gold that's just completely burning a hole in your wallet, pouch, bottomless bag, crumpet, or treasure chest, and you would like to donate anything to a website that's been supporting Dragon Quest fans for over 25 years, stop by the Dragon's Den by clicking the link in the show notes. There are several ways to support the Den, including the affiliate links that don't cost you anything extra when making other Dragon Quest purchases, including the game we just talked about.
That's a game people should buy. And we even have a Slime Time t-shirt that was designed by our resident artist, Dwayne. See the link for it in the show notes.
Thanks to Amanda Lepre and the Descendants of Erdrick for permission to use their music. Check them out at the link in the show notes.
For comments or questions, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at DQSlimeTime. And you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EastXTwitch. Come watch me play a variety of games every Saturday, kids.
And what will you be playing soon, Paul?
Oh, yeah. Funny you should mention that because I hear that next Saturday, the 16th, I'll be playing Dragon Quest III 2D HD Remake, and you're going to be on mic with me for that, aren't you?
Yes, I will. You can count on it.
Ooh.
Join in tons of Dragon Quest discussion at the Dragon's Den forums and Discord, and the Dragon Questers Facebook group, or their new Discord server.
We'd like to thank everyone that made this podcast possible, including Pendy, Woodus, the Dragon's Den, and Tony Todd. He was a fine actor, and I hope he's enjoying candy up in heaven.
Please like, subscribe, and write a review for the podcast.
We'll catch you later, everybody. Don't hate, appreciate.
Dragon Quest Slime Time, sliming off.
This is Gertrude for Slime Time, reminding you all that you must complete your adventure.